With me, I have my illustrious scholars on the panel. How are you gentlemen doing this evening?
Doing
We
well,
good,
doing
bro.
well.
Cool, cool.
It's always fun and interesting when you are hosting LV, so I'm just looking forward to it.
Well, actually, I'm going to shake it up a little bit. I'm stepping out of my normal little comfort zone and stepping outside of the box with tonight, even as far as the format and even the subject. The subject is something that's probably been in in the media, entertainment, social media, a whole lot the last 2-3 weeks with regards to anti-Semitic statements being made by certain people and what the repercussions are. And me myself, I'm not. I won't say I'm finally versed. I know something about it, but since I'm not a hateful person, I'm not out here spewing any kind of hate speech on anybody. So I know I could never be one to say something like that. But I did a little research and started looking at the definition of what anti-Semitic means, and there are a lot of things in there that, I mean, the same thing happens to other groups of people, and there isn't anything as severe. And that's just something I want to kind of discuss tonight when we get to it in a minute. But I do actually want to, speak to each one of you individual just to see how you're going. I ain't trying to take up all y'all time and shit. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna cuss tonight, JP. All right, I'm gonna cuss tonight. Goddamn it! I'm gonna start with you. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. When you cussing, I know you feel all right. So I'm happy you in cussing spirits tonight.
This shit make me want to cuss though.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm good. I'm happy to be here with you, brothers.
All right. And Mr. Coleman, you down there chuckling up a storm. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. It's just cracking up. I'm good. Always good to be with you, brothers.
You haven't been knocking on any elderly people's porch to deliver any checks recently, have you now?
No, I'm about to check delivering business, bro. So I get my people to deliver checks. So.
Sends his people there.
Right. All right. You got to everything else good for you, man?
Man, I ain't got no complaints. Life good, bro. No complaints on my end, man. You good?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't be better, man. I couldn't be better. I'm blessed.
Good.
All right. And Brother Johnny Quick, how, you had the big house warming not too long ago. Hopefully that nobody come over and break none of your good shit that you got. And hopefully there weren't any cat fights or anything of that nature. How you doing, brother?
None of that exists in.
I have a little internet delay today, so I'm slowly
responding. That's what it is. But no,
it's like John lived in Wakanda, dog. No shit exists in his world.
It does not.
I'm like,
he got that for vibranium force field.
You know what I'm saying?
Johnny Quick, what doesn't exist? People getting too rowdy during the party and breaking stuff, or the cat fights? Because I missed the house warming, so I don't know if it got rowdy or not.
Oh, I didn't get rowdy. One thing my mother raised me, I'm going to have peace and nowhere else. I'm going to have it at home. So we're not going to get rowdy at my house. I'm
go other places and get rowdy.
People know if you didn't, we're not going to have that. Right.
John go to other places and get rowdy.
Don't get rowdy.
Exactly.
Positive rowdy. I ain't talking about a riot. I'm talking about folks.
He was there. Party. He was there that night that Flo fell in.
I had a good time.
Yes, he was.
Wait, Wait, say that again, Kobe.
So he was doing that night that fell in.
That's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, the bachelor party at Albert's house when when his flow fell in.
Fell in.
Albert's still mad about that today.
Yeah, I'm hoping he ain't watching tonight. He might do a drive-by.
Well, hey, y'all, I do have a good, bad, ridiculous for y'all. It's kind of an unfortunate thing, but I just want to get you guys takes on it. I don't know if you heard, but yesterday in the wee hours of the morning, the rapper from the group Migos, Takeoff, was murdered at an establishment. There were video of people pulling out their phones, videoing it right there. You see the Gora, blood, all of that. And my question for the good, bad, and ridiculous: do you think it's good, bad, or ridiculous that that's the first thing that people seem to think when anytime it's something tragic, be it of someone fighting or something, you see death like that, they're pulling out phones trying to record it so they can sell those videos to TMZ, who actually end up publishing it and things of that nature. Has our technology kind of put us in that situation? Do you think it's good, bad, or ridiculous that people are doing things like that now when something tragic like this happens? And RIP to take off and to the family. That's very tragic.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that is something that continues to baffle me, that in a crisis situation, people instinctively think to pull out their phones and start recording. Um, it just, one, I think that's bad. I think it's extremely bad that human nature, prior to the level of technology we had, the instinct was fight or flight. Due to our current technologies, technology tends to precede fight or flight. It just goes to show where we are as a society, and what that is rooted in is increasing insensitivity to life, to life, to death, to the value of life. There is more value placed on what you are saying, LB, which is how can I make money or achieve notoriety for this video, as opposed to how can I try to help save this person or save myself or the value of life. So I think it's bad. It's horrible that people automatically think to do that. When I find myself in situations, just even regular situations, I rarely remember to take a damn picture or pull out the phone and take a video. I'm that person that people are like, "Ooh, did you get a picture of that?" I didn't think to take a picture of it.
Just was enjoying the moment as it was.
I'm enjoying the moment. I didn't think about taking a picture of the moment.
Mm-mm.
And so when it's crisis situations, when somebody is murdered, and everybody instinctively, instead of fight or flight, they're like, no, we're going to get this on camera. We're going to get this on video. That's our world today.
All right. Johnny, quick. Good, bad, or ridiculous?
This kind of touch upon a series that I plan on doing in the, but
For me, it's very ridiculous because we've become a society that
it seems the majority, I don't know the numbers, where we want to be sensationalized with what's happening.
It could be someone getting robbed. It could be someone getting killed. It could be someone slipping and falling.
Whatever the situation is, we want to capture every moment to either embarrass the person, go viral for likes, or try to generate revenue, or sell it to a
source like, well, I say news source,
but
sell it to a person like TMZ.
just so we can say we was the first to get the story, or we found a way to make money. People are taking out the emotional, the human part of that
Family
that you're
videotaping.
there
There could be several repercussions that come
after the situation, because you're not even giving, let's just use this isolated situation, you're not even giving his family the respect to let them
through the normal channels, the police, whomever. They find out because you videotape
this and videotape that, and so it's all over social media, and that's how the family finds out. And people don't take that into consideration. Then when it happens to them,
I want to take it a step further. Where we're so quick to videotape and show these different
things. Now, what's also going to be a part of that, the person who did the crime, all of a sudden we don't want to tell nobody, tell the police, because that'll be snitching, which is the use of the term snitching.
Snitching is when you do something and you tell someone so you can get a lesser charge.
Reporting a crime is totally different, and that's the part that really kills me. How you have these people videotaping everything, but when you actually need the evidence to convict, so the double standard and the disrespect is the part that kills me, and it's totally ridiculous for me.
All right, that's too ridiculous. Mr. Coleman.
I struggle with this, man, to be honest with you, because we've kind of talked about one piece of it, but then we look at Ahmaud Arbery. The only reason his killers are being convicted is because they videotaped themselves killing. We look at a Sandra Bland. Because we don't have videotape, we don't know what happened to her. I'm not for being insensitive and capturing and posting things, but we have a lot of people, a lot of criminals who have been caught because of those same videos. So it's a double-edged sword, because the things that we're using to capture criminals, the things that are identifying people who have committed crimes and uploading that are the same things that now we're saying this is terrible because we're doing it before the family sees it. And I agree with all those things. But at the same time, if somebody kills one of my loved ones and LV uploads the video, and now we know who it is, and now we're able to bring that person to justice, I'm struggling with, does the means justify the end? I don't want to see my loved one on the screen plastered and bleeding out, but I also want this fool convicted. And I think that gets back to what John was saying, is I'm not going to get the person who shot the video. They're not getting ready to come forward and give that to the police. But the video being a public video, the police can find it. When we look at what happened on January 6th, the only reason these people are being held accountable is because they videoed. So I don't know if I can say good, bad, or ridiculous. I can say torn. Because again, I don't condone Takeoff's people having to see him in a pool of blood on video. At the same time, now we know who all the witnesses are. It's not a matter of, were you there or not? No, we know you was there. Now it's just a matter of us running facial recognition on this and saying, does this person have a record? Da, da, da. Can we bring them in to talk? Da, da, da. And there's a lot that goes into it. But the videos are convicting criminals, just like they're being insensitive to the families. And I do agree with what JP said. You know, when did we get from flight or flight to all right, let's video and run at the same time? When did we get there? How did we get there? But at the same time, again, Ahmaud Arbery, them people aren't convicted if they don't shoot the video. So I'm torn. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a difference in motivation, the motivation behind the video. Because when you take the murder of George Floyd, they pulled their cameras out to take those videos as a part of fight and fight or flight. They pulled their phones out and announced to the police officers, "We gonna videotape you because you killing this man." So that's still instinctively modern day fighting. And so I'm all for it when the motive behind it is we're going to use this footage to fight against this crime. What I think some of what LV is talking about is people who are videotaping so that they can sell it to TMZ for profit, so that they can go viral. But I agree with what you're saying, Coleman. If the end result ends up good and positive, yeah, I can agree that it's a good thing that the videos are taken because
And see,
something good can come from them. But we do have to take a look at the fact that there is something wrong when, regardless of the positive outcome, the motivation is exploitation of a
and
person
see, and that's
being victimized.
and that's where I can't jump to. I can't jump to that piece of it because you look at how many people were taking videos that evening. Not everybody was thinking they're going to sell the videos to TMZ. Not everybody was thinking they were going to capitalize. This is what this generation does. So we're taking it in and saying, "Oh, they trying to sell it. They trying to go viral." This generation puts everything online, everything. So I can't jump and say that they're trying to go viral or they're trying to. They put their own crimes online. This is what they do. So I can't automatically jump and say, "Oh, they're posting this because they're trying to go viral." Or they're posting this because they wake up and brush their teeth and post it online. I had a hard night. This is what they do. So I'm having a hard time jumping from them shooting videos to them trying to go viral or them trying to sell the video because they post their lives. That's part of what they do. It's one of the reasons why I don't allow, I mean, my kids are young, but I don't allow my kids to have social media right now because I am trying to keep them from feeling like they have to post their lives. Now, this is the flip side of it. I got kids that my kids play sports with who have their own pages so they can post all of their sports clips, and that's how they're getting recruited. So it's like because I'm not posting my kids' stuff online and exposing their lives, now they're behind as fifth and seventh graders in recruiting because now people don't even have to go to games because they just watch it online because everybody posts. So I'm that struggling with it because I'm not at the point where I'm saying them when they filmed that stuff with Offset and them, nobody knew Offset was about to get killed. You see people who were filming when they were just standing there and the argument was going on. This is what they do. Now it's unfortunate that it ended up where it did, but people will post things to say in a room with LV. LV knows 50 people I know, so I'm gonna post that I'm in a room with LV. You know, so these people were filming because they were in a room with Quavo and Takeoff. They weren't posting necessarily to go viral, but they want all their friends to know I'm balling out because I'm in a room, a private party. It just so happened that now we have this tragedy that occurred, and now they're they were already posting that shit. That's why I'm having a hard time with saying, I mean, I think it's tragic, but I'm having a hard time saying that it's ridiculous, because I think it's ridiculous for anybody to post waking up. I think that shit, when you brushing your teeth and you post it, I think that's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, I like your take on it. I mean, I had a preset idea until some of the things you said kind of made me kind of flip it, and in a sense, I can see where it can fit into all three categories.
Mm,
There is some good that can be there, but the key that makes whether or not it's going to be good, bad, or ridiculous is the moral character and fiber of the person that's pulling out that camera.
mm,
Like you said, somebody is just trying to floss, like you said, show their boys that where they at, who they kicking it with. Those intentions aren't bad. Like you said, that's the
mm.
world we live in today. So for us, it's ridiculous because that's not our life. We don't come from
Right.
that. We've seen that evolve. That's all they know.
But you know what?
Okay.
Mm,
Right before
This social media posting is what got him got, because he was at Chicken and Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. The young lady he was with posted that we had Roscoe Chicken and Waffle. Oh,
It
that's
was
where
okay.
you are. Yeah,
but see, even with that one, John, it came
go ahead,
out
Cole.
that it wasn't the post. It came out that it wasn't the post. The people who actually did it were across the street. They saw him pull up. The dude left and actually went and got the son and came back.
Uh,
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw that also.
was it crazy that she posted it? Yeah, it was crazy. But what happened is, now this goes back to something else. Why do we feel this need to? It was funny. I saw this thing from Jay Z, and Jay Z said, "The more money I make, the fewer rims I put on my cars.
Mm-hmm.
The more money I make, the fewer rims I put on my cars." You know, and he was talking about how, and I saw Bun B was talking about. He said, "Have y'all noticed the richer Jay Z gets, the fewer chains and the less ice you see him wearing?"
Exactly.
So that's a bigger thing. Why, as a culture, do we feel this need to floss and wear
validate.
go? And I like nice shit, but like I got a Movado watch, right? Not expensive. I mean, not crazy, but it's a decent watch. When you look at that Movado, it ain't got no diamonds or nothing. But if a
Right.
person, halfway knows watches, they be like, "Oh,
Who's
that's a nice watch." Well, it is. It's beveled. I mean, it got some shit on it. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
The things that actually indicate a moving up material wise, getting a better product, typically don't have a lot of bling, don't have a lot of shine.
Right.
They're just better quality made items. But for some
Performance.
reason, we had this need to get out. And then we even try to, blame it on, in Africa, man, we like gold. Gold is in my soul. Now stop it. Stop it. Stop the
Yeah, you know
Well,
bullshit.
that.
that
You know what I'm
there's a
saying?
lot of people talk
We
about
we out here, we out here fighting over streets.
that we
Yeah.
don't even
We're out here,
own.
we don't own. Where we're actually getting eviction notices and being put out talking about, this is my block. You look in Chicago, all these cats, Vaughn and all them. Well, hell, the project they lived on got shut down. Old Block is getting ready to get
Gone.
razzed. They get ready to take that joint down. And they've been killing people for years
And
over
they
Old Block. Is gone.
and the point that you was making
So
with JC showing less, that goes back to what they say is our culture.
The more we show, the broker we are.
And
But you have some of these rappers who walk around
with
those
wide
wide.
money putting up to their ears, and it was like, what's the point? Why do you have all that money floating around with $100,000 where you just setting yourself up for a
And you know, so
Oh, today
talk
prepared
about
with
the
this.
rapper who was, yeah. So when you go back to the cat who walked in, you know, into the Waffle House, rest his soul, he was blinged out. Jay-Z could have been in him, and outside of people knowing who Jay-Z is, Jay-Z and Beyonce could have been sitting in the next booth, and they would have just been looking like another black couple at Waffle House because they don't have to do it like that. Now her shoes might have cost $25,000, but it would have been the brand, the quality of the shoe. It wouldn't have been because they had diamonds all on them, you know?
Yeah, but what you're
Right.
speaking to, this is about poverty mentality.
Right.
If you drive up Ward Parkway, the mansions off of Ward Parkway, you will see more expensive cars in the hood than the
Yeah.
cars parked in front of a mansion on Ward Parkway. But that is because of poverty mentality, and poverty
Mhm.
mentality like is rooted in living in a country where one is not expected to achieve on a level where you can afford expensive things. So when a
Mhm.
person is partially on that level, okay, like they're not able to afford a mansion on Ward Parkway. They living in a regular crib, but they have an extremely expensive car parked in the garage at that regular crib
Right.
because they are celebratory that they have beat the odds. Jay-Z and Beyonce are at a point where they have been wealthy for so long, and they know that they have long money. They know that they will die wealthy. They no longer have poverty mentality. That's the reason why they're not blinging things out anymore, because they have found comfort in their financial security. They no
Mhm.
longer have poverty mentality. And so, yeah, it's a little frustrating when you see a brand new Cadillac parked in front of like the projects. It's frustrating because it's like you could have bought a house. You could have bought a nice house and a regular car, but it's the weight of how difficult it is to achieve anything in this country, and people become celebratory, and that's when reckless spending takes place. It's like the difference between Coach and Louis Vuitton. Coach is going to have a little tag on there that says Coach. Usually it's downplayed. Louis Vuitton, you got the LVs all over it. And I remember when a lot of women was like, I don't want the Coach purse. I want the Louis Vuitton purse. And I wanted to have
Mhm.
the LVs in red and orange and green. I need people to know that I beat the odds. The problem is that
But
there's odds. The problem is that it's so difficult for us as a people or minorities in general to achieve in America. And so we mishandle it when we do.
you know,
And
and
that's a
and that's
problem.
that's and that's interesting,
I
and
don't even know.
it is a problem, right? But it's also something that we continue to perpetuate and teach our kids, right? So it's like I got a tennis shoe thing, right? So my sons don't give a shit about tennis shoes. So, you know, Harper got a pair of Jordans, he got a pair of Greek freaks, he got a pair of something else. Like, dude, those are Greek freaks. Harper was looking at him like, what do you mean? Because they don't give a shit. Because this is just what they have, right? So now, once we start achieving, right, at whatever level we're achieving at, and we get something that we consider to be nice, because like I said, I like tennis shoes. So I bought my son a pair of Jordans. It's one thing if I come home and be like, yo, dog, these is Jordans, put them up on the shelf, dust them off. If I catch any dirt on your Jordans, that's going to be a problem with you and daddy. It's another thing if it's like, hey man, take care of your shoes because we take care of the things that we have. And I'm teaching him to curate and take care of his things simply because that's what we do, not because they're Jordans. So if I buy him some jeans from Walmart, he better take care of them jeans from Walmart just like he take care of them Jordans. And I'm dating myself. But you know what I'm saying? The quality of the product should not determine the value that we place on it. We should be teaching them that the things that we possess. Y'all remember Othello? Y'all remember that car I had?
Hell yeah.
Remember the guts, the doors was falling out and shit, and I would pull up at the front of the party and park. The rag top was peeling. We pull up at the party, we park in the front of the party and jump out that raggedy old motherfucker and be like Othello in the house.
And now run
because
cars with wheels.
You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't the vehicle. My father taught us it's not the vehicle. The vehicle's not gonna make you. You gonna make the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? I used to go pick chicks up in my car. They'd be like, "Why you turn the lights on before you start it?" Oh, because if I turn it on first, the lights won't come on. I got to turn the lights on before I start it. That's just one of the unique characteristics of Othello.
But
where are we placing the value? And I agree with you, JP. I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
No, but I agree with what you're saying. But here's what it's about. The difference between you and your children is that they have always had. So they don't know poverty mentality. Whereas for us, we have been struggling college students. We have been in a position where we didn't have food. And so for us, these material things mean more. For our children, they have the mindset of the people living in the mansions on Ward Parkway. They don't think anything of the things that they have. They're just things.
Because they don't know
mentality to have. Because
but I can also teach them mentality.
Right.
But I can also teach mentality though.
Right.
Appreciate what they have because others may not be as fortunate as you.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? I don't want to miss this one point because you know what? I'm blessed to be on this podcast with so many secure financial brothers because early on we talked about a bed.
Says the man who majored in economics.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Well, that's because I know what broke is and so that's why I'm so familiar with it because I'm broke. And then having that
says the man who had a housewarming party because he just moved into a new house.
Hey, I like to call it a house. It's actually a shack. But anyway, that's a different story.
Don't even
with
try
new
to
furniture.
as a shack.
And listen, I don't want to steal the point that John's gonna make. So I want you to be able to make that point. But don't be trying to make that point from a position of poverty. That's all I'm saying. Because that's bullshit.
You ain't living in poverty. But I see his point because
I do
talking
too.
about the princess bed, right? The princess
hold on. Bed. Go ahead, John.
Well, no, that's why I was going with the princess
bed. Is that all you was gonna say? Just the princess bed?
Well, no, I was gonna mention the Movado watch and how well we've gone from struggling in college
and his Infinity.
And I don't have an Infinity, sir.
He got an Acura. The black Act.
We're going
I'm thinking about LV.
I got it.
We going from the struggling college student to where you are now and being able to share that value of where we put our value on. Because I said this on a podcast before, you have to know what the person value to really know what they really care about. And there
you go back to the date now.
I'm done.
Here we go back to the Grandmatic Spring. Go ahead with it, John. Kill him.
Okay, he was about to make a really good point.
I got one more point. Go ahead.
No, I want to address this point. No, he was about to make because he's right about this. One of the things that Johnny Quick was saying. Remember we talked about we were we were looking at these princess beds for Sashi and my baby Sasha. But here's the thing. She could care less about that bed because she's never slept on a raggedy bed in the projects. She's never been without. So the princess bed speaks more to where we have come from. Well, mainly me, I guess, because Nadine
Right.
ain't, But even though the bed was
Yeah, her
hers,
father was a
to where we have
neurosurgeon.
come
So
from, as opposed to our children. Our children have never experienced going without. And I do think that I like what you were saying, Coleman, that we have to teach our kids who have never gone without, you have to teach them to appreciate the things that they have. I totally agree with that. I think that a good moral foundation is developed when you have struggled in the past. Those of us who struggled through college and it did, you had Othello. I didn't have a car at all. Okay. And so, yeah, we want to teach our kids to appreciate these things on a deeper level so that they don't take them for granted. But the flossing that people do, that stems from like being in a country where it is so hard, it is 10 times harder for a minority person to achieve in this country than it is for anyone else. And that is the reason why when one does achieve, they celebrate it by buying these things that are expensive and flashy. That's
but
where
see,
it
this is my
comes from.
problem. This is my problem, and I agree with you. But my problem is we have to start teaching mentality. So my father was not, he was a high school graduate, right? My entire life, I knew I was going to college because he talked to me about going to, and not, he didn't talk to me about getting college applications. He didn't have that skill set. He didn't talk to me about all this in-depth shit about how we didn't do the college tours, but I knew I was going to college. Even when I looked at the military and I was like, yo, daddy, I want you to sign off on me going to the Navy. He said, nah, you got to do at least 1 year of college. Then you can sign for yourself to go wherever you want to because you'll be of age. Right. So immediately he was teaching me a mentality that he did not have, but that he wanted me to grow into. So I agree with you that this is a mentality. My thing is, when do we start teaching to go beyond us? And LV, you said this on one of the first shows we ever did. You said one of the things that you're trying to teach Lyric is to exceed. You want wherever your ceiling may be, you want that to be her floor.
Right.
That's one of the things you've always talked about. Why you pushing, why she's playing the saxophone, why she's involved in all these things. It's not just simply so she plays the saxophone. It's exposure. It's teaching mentality of achievement. It's teaching her. I mean, she was first chair after like the first year on her saxophone. LV don't play the sax. I'm not a musician. She's not learning that from us. She is learning a mentality of excellence and exceeding, right? So that's my thing. My thing about talking about my kids and the shoes is that there's a mentality of, okay, if you want to have nice things, if you like George or whatever your it is, whatever your thing is, we have to teach them how to achieve it. I had a next door neighbor when I lived in Minnesota, and their daughter, Rara, she was brilliant, making her own clothes as a kid. And for some reason, the only place that Rara could go in the neighborhood was she house. And I had a fence around my yard. So Rara would come up on my porch every day when I was working from the crib. She would ring my doorbell. I would come out and I would work on my front porch. and she would play music and dance and just hang out with me, and we would talk about college, right? So while she was a kid, she was thinking about going to college. Well, I look up now, we moved, and I'm not trying to say I was going to be her motivating factor, but the mentality of the people she was being raised by was different than the mentality that I possessed. So now Rara still on the block. Rara got a couple of kids, doing well for herself. But what I saw in and for Rara was different than the people around her saw. So I'm trying to teach a mentality to somebody, and that mentality is not being reinforced. My whole point was, when do we start reinforcing and teaching a different mentality? That's my issue.
But you know what? That begins. But you know what? That starts with our level, because we have to teach it. It's not enough of us that think like us.
And that's why I'm talking about what you're doing with your daughter. Because
that's
that as a group,
she's going to have that. Your boys are going to have that. Sashi's going to have that. But there's only needs to be more of us that are teaching them so that they can spread that. So it can be like that old, so it can be like that old commercial. Friend, and you tell someone, and they tell someone, and so on, and so on, and so on. I mean, I don't understand how because I know our parents were great, but bro, they wasn't that great. I think there were a lot of other parents that were given that same information, trying to instill that. But us, our generation, we have somewhat dropped the ball, bro, because we have not passed that.
And that's why I stay on John's ass, right? So when John starts saying things like, he doesn't have kids, that's why I'm always saying, but yo, dog, talk about what you're doing in your mentoring, with your foundation. Don't talk about you don't have biological kids, because you are doing more for kids that are not yours than the average person. And I know, John, I know this is in jest, so I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just pointing to some things. So when John talk about he ain't got no money, you don't major in economics and not understand money and not be building a financial egg for yourself. He sends us too much stuff about investing. When John talk about having a shack, I'm going to jump on his ass about having a housewarming, because John is achieving, right? Justin, I know that. I know John well enough to know that, but I can't let the people who don't know John think that John ain't balling.
He in a moment is not in.
And whatever balling means to you, I don't care. But you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna let people know.
But you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Right. And so right there, I would jump. Normally, I would jump on John's. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole point.
If y'all see me out in public,
that's what he did.
I would be willing. I almost would want to put my house up to say that your net worth is more than all of ours combined.
This is how lies and rumors get started.
Your net worth. Yeah.
And even if we jump back and John be talking about he's been known to go out and just buy the table. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to what he's saying and then start matching it up to the other shit he's saying, the shit don't match up. And I know it's unjust. But for those, sometimes I got to correct the record, because I need people to understand what is actually being the mentality that his mother instilled. And that's what he always goes back to. My mother instilled, whether it's his the fact that he doesn't cuss and he doesn't drink, and his mother instilled, those are morals, those are values. That's important. It doesn't say the fact that I drink or the fact that I could, it doesn't say it's wrong. It just says there's a wide spectrum of achievement. And let's stop acting like it's this wide. You know what I mean? Let's draw the lines and say this is Coleman to John wide. And if me and John put our hands together and stretch them out, we wide as shit. You know what I'm saying? We cover a lot of ground. So it's that wide, the level of achievement.
And that's a great transition to what today's perspective was supposed to be about, because it is a large motherfucking difference between the gap here and then the gap on that other shit. Okay. And I'm just I guess I'm gonna be forced to do a motherfucking 2-part. And y'all know that shit ain't what I want to do. Ooh, y'all know that ain't what I want to do.
I love a 2-part.
But just to wet your whistle, get you a little moist, you make the tent rise. What I wanted to really discuss, like I said today.
That's not the date app right there. Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he said get your moist, didn't he?
Boys.
Yeah.
Can
He
we?
said boys.
I think he said get your moist.
My ears are small.
But this is not the date app right there.
Get your boys.
I'm just saying because this is still going to be something major, even when it rolls around for a part 2. And see why I'm really pissed that it's got to be a motherfucking part 2, because now I'm going to tax myself with coming with a little more research on it. But I'm still ignorant to. Don't get me wrong.
Next week. This isn't a part 2 that can wait until a month later when you host again.
LV's hosting next week. LV's hosting this week.
Hold on. Busy week ahead. I have a lot of major projects I'm working on. My daughter is trying to.
But
you already did the research.
You wait 4 weeks. It'll be dated.
You already did the research.
You don't have to do it.
You already did the research.
Here's the corn I'm getting ready to drop out there. But it's dealing with, being anti-Semitic and what's considered that. And I would think one thing I question that seems to makes a lot of people appear to be anti-Semitic is if they make any type of derogatory, which I don't think it should be a derogatory comment, or if they lessen the effect of what the Holocaust was. Whereas when you talk about slavery, it's like, hey, that was, you forget it. And you can say anything bad about it, make any disparaging remark, and nothing is said. A good example is with what happened with Crazy Ass. And for those who may not have seen the previous show, I'll say it for you all, because I refuse to say the motherfucker's name, but I gotta say it now. Kanye West. That motherfucker crazy, but they really are fucking him right now.
Wait a minute. They're what?
They're fucking him right now.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Okay. All right. And he
made his
didn't he?
And he loves
he's come under fire and has lost, millions of dollars, even damn near $1 billion at this point, because he had something to say that they consider anti-Semitic. Now, when he had something to say in regards to slavery, which when I look at the definition on anti-Semitic, if you lessen the Holocaust, that's considered anti-Semitic. In my opinion, if you're lessening what slavery was, there should be some kind of term and people should have been in uproar. But there wasn't an uproar, and that's what I don't understand.
Well, you know what?
That's called racism. That's
right.
The term.
And these are three
slavery.
The 3 things that we probably could focus on when we do this is the way people lessen slavery when you compare 12 years of the Holocaust versus 400 years of slavery.
And there was one thing that I wanted to bring up about it as well, because I want to, with the critical race theory.
Well, that was going to be the next comment I was going to make.
And the critical race theory, they're wanting to erase everything about slavery, but they're not erasing anything about the Holocaust. Why? What is the difference? Both were very tragic. I'm not lessening anything about the Holocaust. It was wrong. The shit shouldn't have happened. But when you look at slavery, that shit was wrong. It shouldn't have happened, but they used them people. They killed more people. I believe there were probably more people that died throughout slavery, even though I know it was 400 years. I probably that first 100 to 200 years, I would say it was probably an equal amount of deaths as what with the Holocaust. And as far as people having mental issues behind it and being traumatized, those Africans coming over to a foreign country, foreign language, that's just as traumatizing. But that
Laverio, when you actually do the research over this week and talk about things,
I'll
look at
tell
the.
my teacher, you ain't the boss of me. You ain't the boss of me. You know where you at. You know where
I'm gonna just
you
put.
at.
I'm gonna
He's
just
a
throw this
head
out there.
full.
I'm
He
a, I'm
is
a,
a head
I'm
full.
a,
The fuck
I'm
I'm
gonna throw
gonna
this.
do. I'm gonna do what the fuck I'm gonna do. Now you
I'm
pay
gonna
some
just
money.
throw
Do what
this
you
out
do.
there. I'm
He
just.
about to
I'm gonna
cuss
just throw
Johnny
this.
Quick out.
I'm gonna
Johnny
throw this
Quick tried
information
to
out.
help him.
If anyone else who wants to research this
Right.
is
Shit different. Like I said, I know I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I ain't the dumbest motherfucker either. That's why I'm always intelligent enough to make sure I'm in a room with people that are much sharper than I am, so I can sharpen my blade as well. And I welcome
I'm
That's fair to say.
that
I
information.
know
I would
I'm a
think
dummy,
that's
so
fair to
I'm
say.
not ashamed to admit that.
You got no
But
basket
what I was
weave.
but what I
I
was
got
gonna say is
LB, stop.
what I was going to say is also for our viewers to look into why did the Japanese receive reparations when they were put into camps, and the fight with descendants of slaveries are fighting the reparation that they received. Also with the Native Americans, the reparations that they receive to this day and African descents of slavery are not able to receive.
you know what, brother? I'm gonna make an executive decision. I'm gonna give you the
Oh
authority to
no, you're
do
not.
on that to us next week.
I'll
I
be out of
delegate.
town. I'm
Okay,
out of town
real
next week.
quick.
I delegate.
Can
I
I make
delegate.
I'm out of town.
points?
A
Can I
good
make
leader,
So
points? LB, do
a
your
leader
job,
knows when
LB.
to
You don't get
back.
to put it off on Johnny Quick.
See, a good leader,
LB,
an effective leader knows when to step aside and let those that are more versed.
no, this is your topic.
And
LB,
I'm just
listen, you are fully competent.
I'm direct.
One, the
JP,
first thing we're not
JP,
going to do, we're not going to
JP.
downplay your
You don't,
intelligence. That's
you don't
BS.
run me. You don't
LB,
run me.
listen, please.
You
We're
don't
not
run
going to downplay your intelligence. That's
me.
BS.
And
This
you
is
know
your
what?
topic, and you gonna cover this
Hey,
topic.
Jedi,
This ain't
Jedi,
Johnny
Jedi,
Quick's
Jedi
topic.
brother, Jedi brother. You can't use the Jedi mind trick on me either. All right?
This ain't his topic.
I,
Can I
it's
make
like
2 points?
it's just like you never said anything.
Okay, can I make 2 points?
I'm out of town next week. So
Can I make 2 points?
Ninja, you were in
Look,
Iceland.
this
Ninja,
is
you were
he
in
ain't let you dump
Iceland.
this on
If
here.
you're in the if you're in the continent of North America,
I'll be in the rural parts of Oklahoma where their
You
internet is very spotty.
you do not get to open up a can of anti-Semitism and dump it on Little John. I'm sorry, Johnny
I,
Quick to
and I
pick up
don't
the
on
slack.
him. No, the specifics of what he said. I will bring my own. I do my own. I do mine my way because
Okay,
I have other avenues that I want to focus on, but I do like ideas as well. And that's as I said, an effective leader knows when to
you don't need to do that. Hold
give
on.
up light.
Can I make 2 points? 2 points I want to make. One is 6 million Jews was killed during the Holocaust. And that was only during the Holocaust. When you study up on the atrocities that the Jewish community experienced since the
Yeah,
beginning of time, they have
yeah.
experienced all of the atrocities. They have been enslaved, they have been murdered, they have been lined up, gassed, shot. The atrocities that the Jewish community
Jesus
has
was a Jew.
experienced is more than significant. At the same time, I want to make my second point, which is why do we need to compare suffering? It's suffering. Our people have suffered. Native Americans have suffered. Japanese has suffered. The Jewish community has suffered. We have all suffered. I don't think we should separate ourselves by comparing our suffering. What we
That is
need
a
to
very
do
good
is
point.
come together as
And
people who have suffered and
give me
fight
an
to
equal playing
overcome it
field. Give me an
together.
playing field, though. I agree with everything you said. Everybody suffering is equal, but give me an equal playing field. Only that community has where you can be, like I said, they have their own term. As far as racism, that's very broad. That's
But they're
outside.
not a race. That's why the term doesn't apply to them. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
everybody's suffering is equal. I'm saying we have all suffered. And
Mhm.
instead of separating ourselves and being divisive based upon our sufferings, I think we should come together as people who have all suffered at the hands of those who throughout history have exploited people who are minorities in some way. I think that our energy would be better spent in that manner. Another thing I want us to think about is the root of anti Semitism is Judeophobia. Okay? And here's what I'm saying.
You got some homework,
In
Gerald.
in modern anti-Semitism,
You know.
in what these I missed it.
He
What you
said you
say,
got some
Johnny?
homework to do.
Okay. In modern, because yes, anti-Semitism goes back to the Jews being blamed for, crucifying Christ. But in modern anti-Semitism, it boils down to money. And let me
Mm,
explain that. One of the
bingo. Ding,
positive,
ding, ding,
one
ding,
of the
ding, ding.
positive stereotypes.
Save that for next week. Like I said,
Johnny
we're
Clip's not going to be here next week. It's
yes,
just a
he
short
is.
statement.
No,
It's
no,
just a
yes, he
short
is.
statement. No, it's just a short statement. I just want to
Yeah,
say
30
this.
seconds.
One of the positive stereotypes that is applied to the Jewish community is that they are intelligent and that they excel at economics, business, law, etc., etc. Okay? For those people who have insecurities in their own ability to achieve, that is the root of why they hate the Jews. It's rooted in Judeophobia, okay? Which is a fear. Those who are insecure about their own ability to achieve have a fear of those who have exhibited an ability to fear. And what do people do with things that they are afraid of? They hate it. So the root of anti-Semitism, which is the hatred of Jews, is Judeophobia, the fear of what Jewish people have shown themselves to be able to accomplish. And the same thing applies to African Americans, to the Japanese, to the Native Americans. It's rooted in fear by those who are in the majority because they don't want to share any damn thing with anybody who is not white.
Period. And hit the music. See, I told you we was gonna get a moist, warm, right